So my question again was around the consolidated marketing events calendar. And trust me, I also worked at Cisco, and I worked within the CMO organization, and I, at one point, created, believe it or not, this is back in 2006, a global events calendar, and this was only for UC, and literally it was on a poster size kind of thing. It's hard, but it enables us as partners to be able to budget appropriately the most effective events, whether it be a Cisco Live, whether it be a channel event, whether it be a road show that they're doing, and we don't have visibility into all of those. And I literally am reaching out to 50 people to try to get all what's going on in their region.
Yeah. So great question. So Cisco does a lot of events. We do have an integrated event plan. So basically, CMO or the central marketing organization will look at kind of tier 1 funded events that they will look at, ahead of the coming year. So that is, we do have an inventory, around that. In addition, the business units as well will decide on key events related to their architecture, whether it's data center, collaboration, borderless networks, et cetera. And then the regions themselves will also put together event plans related to their specific regions. We're now down to 3 regions within Cisco, so we're more simplified that way. But I haven't seen a sort of a consolidated across Cisco event view, just as you say. So we're trying to ease the way, improve the way we do business internally, first of all. But we do need to be able to provide that integrated view, and we need to take that on as a CDN leadership team to be able to do that. So we commit to that. That's something that we haven't delivered yet, but that we need to. But we will look at that as a key priority. So I'll make that commitment today for you.
I know Cisco's finishing its fiscal year, but as some of us are on calendar years, and
yes.
we come up to end of year and we're starting the budget for 2013, it would be great if that action could be taken so we have it in time to submit budget for 2013.
Absolutely. So we do have a little time bleeding into the calendar year, but yes, great question. Thank you.
All right, other questions? I know there was one over here.
So everything that you've said today is absolutely true, and strategically we need to put plans into place to get our product supported through the SEs, the AMs, and get it out into the market. The other side of that is getting the same effort and the same exposure into the channel itself. And I'm curious as to whether or not the plans that you propose when you come in and provide the consulting services include the take it to the channel side, because you've mentioned the ever-changing landscape within Cisco, and we see that when we do deal with the CDWs, the larger resellers that in the channel, that's changing as well. We may be dealing with these 2 regions, but the other regions have absolutely no clue that we exist. And that's where I see, as part of that strategy, a plan that would include the exposure into Cisco that would excite the AMs and the SEs to actually help pull you through those channels in those various regions. And then, of course, how to go into those regions and get those channels excited as well.
Yeah, and that's a great point, and that's one of the things that we are absolutely looking at here at Cisco. When we went out and spoke to the field and our channel partners, one of the things that they really said is, hey, we need, if you're going to come to us and talk to us about all kinds of CDN partners and all the wonderful solutions, we need an easy way to go find and browse through that. That's why this actually marketplace, by the way, is so critical to our field and our channel partners, because that's going to be the single source of truth to find all the solutions that really resonate and help. So having a robust presence out there, highlighting success stories, highlighting wins, highlighting the benefits back to channels as well as our sales teams will be important. Now that that is launched here at Cisco Live, what we've got is a very big rolling thunder communications plan. So we're going to continue to drive the importance of CDN through the CDN marketplace out to our fields and channels. Our leadership teams in the different architectures also are pulling us onto their team calls to educate their teams about CDN marketplace and the different solutions out there. Our sales leadership team is also going to be looking for metrics, quite frankly, coming out of the marketplace and other things on the reporting side, where we can start highlighting how well and where the success is coming from a CDN partner. If our sales leaders get those metrics, and we don't have those today, they're going to be able to use those to drive their sales teams and our channel partners to do different things. So there's a number of different things that we want to drive there, but I'm 100% with you that we've got to do more, and there's a number of different pieces that we're trying to execute. Right. Next question. I know we had one over here.
I have two questions, actually. I'm just going to ask only the first question. Second one I'll probably hold for the end. So most of the sessions, obviously, wealth of information. Thanks for all that. But again, we're one of the newer sort of the CDN partners. Our relationship with Cisco has been about 5 years now. Mostly what we do, we're sort of more of we're systems integrators in the contact center. Not really have a structured product yet, but we're on an aggressive path to launch our product sometime later this year. So the question really is, the program, the way I see, it's sort of more geared for the organizations, the companies who already have a product and already have a space, already have a relationship with Cisco. And now how do you sort of accelerate that to take it to the next level? But whereas for us, we're actually looking at just sort of getting a kickstart into the program. And I felt like there hasn't been too much coverage in the last, yesterday and today about, a fresh entry into CDN, as a partner. How do I take benefit of, all this information that you have, just get going from grounds up? That's really the question. So.
Thank you for that question. Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay, thanks. What we're working on, and we got this feedback from others as well, is more of a kit that's a step-by-step kind of guide for new partners coming into the program on all of the things that you can take advantage of, how to get started, what's available to you, and more of a checklist that is similar to the go-to-market resource guide that Leonard went through, but more is from a new partner coming into CDN and looking at it from the big picture point of view of all of the benefits in the program. Is that something that you are looking for and would address what your question is? Okay.
Front end to the go-to-market resource center, quite frankly, right? Because it plugs right into what Leonard was talking about there.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Let me add one more comment on that. So I think you're also looking for are you looking for maybe messaging as well related to the partner type that you are, whether you're a system integrator or maybe a non-traditional developer ISV of how to get started into the program? I think also as part of that, in terms of the messaging aspects, is to creating robust value propositions across the partner types that we have to make it more attractive for partners that may be non-traditional partners to be able to onboard and to become part of the CDN program as well. So I think that would help in addition to what Beth said in terms of the steps to onboard.
This is regard to the CDN and the marketplace. The question is, we have description, feature, support, resources, and we heard a lot about value prop. Is that something we should possibly incorporate in the marketplace? Value proposition? Because right now it's more technical.
Absolutely. It definitely should include value proposition information, anything that's going to attract the customers, the sales, and the channels in our field.
So that should go under description?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, we got a question over there.
Yeah. Then I just want to mention something about the value proposition, which certainly should be on the marketplace, but I think that Chris and Carter also mentioned it a few times, that there are different value propositions for the customers, for the channels, and for the Cisco field. Most probably the value proposition for the Cisco field won't be on the marketplace, which is more bound for the channels and customers. So just wanted to highlight this, talking about different value propositions.
So thank you for putting this today's session, was very helpful. So my question is, many times CDN partners, they come up with a program which adds value to the Cisco products, as well as the Cisco channel teams, and as well as Cisco partners. If there is any program in place which can help CDN partners to communicate that offer and opportunity which is available to Cisco partners? Because one of the challenging thing what we have seen is like even though we have the best program and the best value add for Cisco channels, but there is no way we can reach out to those people.
Yeah, so let me ask the consultants to take a shot, because we don't have a simple way. There is no silver bullet to go communicate your value prop to anybody and everybody out there, but do you guys have some best practices or thoughts that you guys have seen that work well?
Yeah, I mean, as far as, you know, when you get the part of the putting together the communication plan where you pick, you know, these key groups that you're going to focus. One of the other things we do, another step we didn't talk about, is prioritizing, you know, who you're going to hit. But we could build the best plan, but there's still part of it that you have to go do sales 101. It just is. There's no, I wish there was an easy way just to proliferate it quickly, but there is still going to have to be. That's why the accountability, and we use the term divide and conquer a lot, having everybody on board where you can assign it to people. That's how you get the scale quicker. But it's still a lot of hand-to-hand combat, and there is, and that's fine. I mean, that's why they need us. If it was too easy, then, you know, everybody do it. But
I agree, you know, especially what you said about the one-to-one, because remember, at the end of the day at Cisco, it's every account manager, certainly every country, but every account manager that decides what to do when they wake up in the morning. So building the value proposition is important, building the communication is important, but at the end of the day, it's really person-to-person relationships. You know, I can give you some examples of Cisco and their largest channel partners that we used to build some kind of programs on the corporate levels. But at the end of the day, if you wouldn't have the relationships on the field, on the ground, between the different people, it never took off. So at the end of the day, it's really just the personal relationship.
At this point, we're a North American company selling solely in North America. Probably in the 2-year time frame, we might start looking at the rest of the world. Is it at all practical to be able to reach out from here to Europe and the rest of it without having local presence in those areas, or must you have local presence to be able to engage with Cisco?
I mean, I think it's practical if you do it through the reseller. You leverage the reseller channels and organizations to do that. You know, I think that we've seen partners that, you know, maybe have a strong presence here in the U.S. They work with a particular CDN partner or solution and try to leverage them taking those solutions overseas. That's where I've seen success doing that.
I think that it's an additional challenge if you don't have real presence in Europe. It's possible, but then, like everything else, you know, if the value proposition, if the advantage is really great, people will make the extra effort. But you have to bear in mind different time zones and everything. Remember that Cisco people are used to work with the US because Cisco is US-based, and you always have those calls and interaction with the US. And it's possible to do that. And even some of the European partners, or if you have presence in Europe, you don't have it all across Europe. And if you have one person in the UK, they're not in Greece, they're not in Germany, they're not in France. So it is possible, but it's an extra challenge for sure.
My question is about marketplace versus developer dashboard. So developer dashboard has partner deals and leads, and then the marketplace has leads section as well. So is the developer dashboard going away for that?
Sorry, is what going away?
traditional CDN web support.
Yeah, so there's a developer network portal where we can submit our partner leads still. I mean, it's or partner deals, and then there's a section for leads still there as well.
Okay. So what we're going to be doing is working on simplifying the whole deal tracking and deal registration process. So in terms of the marketplace, that will be where we'll be tracking leads that come into the marketplace and being passed to the partners. We can do all the reporting on the leads and the sales cycle that those leads are in. In terms of deal registration, there's currently a partner relationship management system where the deals are registered, and that's the system that's integrated with the portal that will be simplifying and enhancing it will continue to be part of the portal. we're looking at other ways to integrate with other systems at Cisco, like Salesforce.com. But in the short term, it will be the current system we talked to you about, simplifying it, and then looking longer term at, what our other options are for those types of tools.
So I'm just very intrigued on the additional marketing possibilities, and in the pyramid of increased support for the M concierge service and the increased marketing side of things, coupled with Elad's detailed overview of Cisco on Cisco newsletters for different audiences, SEVTs, and all these. So how intertwined will the additional marketing support be with some of these specific blocks that were called out? If you guys could go into that, that'd be wonderful.
So I think it'll be, completely aligned with the tiers, right? As the new tiers are defined, as Tracy outlined, the entitlements that will accompany those tiers will be very clearly associated, and you'll see definitely incremental marketing investment and capability that will come through the higher value tier that you experience or are part of, and you'll see that as real tangible benefit and investment from Cisco. So,
and the resource center becomes a location where that can be organized and available once it's determined from Cisco. So it can be a one-stop shop for getting that resource information.
As grab best practices, we want to throw them there to give you that one place to go, like Leonard mentioned. Are there other questions?
Just a follow-on, guys. Sorry, just kind of a follow-on. I guess what I was trying to get to was, the coordination of, say, with BUs and, with field messaging or channels messaging, and all these entitlements. I'm really excited about them. Yeah. And then tied to those specific blocks that Elad called out, is a CDN partner going to be, the nexus to help, all that information, or is CDN as a group able to really help kind of bridge that gap? One of the things as a CDN partner is we're really driving the BU initiatives. We're driving our own field initiatives. We're driving our own channel initiatives. And so, if there's some way to really I guess become much more efficient in that process, be very, very interested in that.
Okay. I think that the CDN as a program can enable to open a door to those opportunities. But most of the things that I've mentioned there, they're being driven by different groups. Sometimes it's at a country level, sometimes at the theater level, sometimes it's on a worldwide level. So, for example, let's take one example, which is if you want to get engaged with Cisco presenting at Cisco Live, okay, beside being an exhibitor, which is open only to CDN partners, but then also getting engaged more with the Cisco demonstration, the Cisco presentation, the CDN can enable you to be considered as one of those, but then eventually you would have to work with the specific people who drive any of those initiatives and see if they are open to integrate you with those activities.
Jeff, I'd just add that, I think the benefits that you receive as a CDN partner, definitely there's going to be synergies across the BUs and the sales organization, channels, and marketing, so that we're operating more efficiently internally as a team, so that we take some of that, complexity out of your ability or need to navigate that. So I think you'll see that definitely that efficiency will reside within the Cisco environment. Okay.
Question here.
Yeah, thank you. An observation that I've made over the last 4 years being in the program is, as the CDM program has become larger, one of the things that was valuable to us was the relationship that we had with our BDM, and I feel like that's a piece that is missing, and I'm curious as to how many BDMs are currently, within the CDM program, and what the ratio is in terms of their alignment with partners.
Clarification, as a BDM, you talk to partner manager as a BU?
Business development manager.
Okay.
within CDN. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so as Denny was alluding to, those BDMs are not in the CDN organization. They're distributed across Cisco within each of the business units. So it really varies on each of the business units in terms of their strategy, the ecosystem, and the number of partners that they're dealing with. So we could probably take it one-on-one afterwards. I could understand the product groups that you're working with and the relationships you used to have that you feel you don't have now, and I can bring that feedback back to that BU.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think both comments really relate to the fact that regardless of all the great information, and maybe some of this is going to help with that, is we still have to have multiple points of entry. I mean, if you just look at, so I primarily deal with CCBU, but obviously go into UCBU as well, and all the different regions, and all the different marketing organizations, and it would really help if CDN somehow can be the focal point or conduit to help us navigate. And I get that some of the information here is going to help, but I think at the end of the day, we still have to have those relationships, or somebody has to be able to take us to that point. I'm lucky, again, having worked at Cisco, and in fact, a lot of people know me that, like, if I don't get a response somewhere, I'm going somewhere else. And they know that I know who to go to. So a lot of times I get a response because of that, and they don't want me, like, pinging around Cisco. But others don't, and they don't have that relationship. And I think that's part of the biggest challenge. And I know you're between a rock and a hard place, because you have to have our interest in mind, but you have the same issue we do. There's so many people and processes and things you may not even know about. So it's just the coordination point of being able to direct and provide that support and direct us to the right person and make sure we're getting the right information. I think that's the challenge.
Thanks, Vicki, for that feedback. We acknowledge that as well, and we've heard that feedback before, and we are taking it to heart. So in our planning process, we've talked about the concept of some virtual experts that could be more centralized to help be that orchestrator and coordinator and facilitator across those different organizations. Now, if Denny gives me his wallet, we may be able to work something out, but it is something we do acknowledge and feel and see your pain, and are looking at some solution dependent upon budgets.
That's a big price tag. We're not committed to. Don't want to set expectations then. But we are fighting for that. I think that's important. Were there other questions out there? The other thing we could do, is there anything else, maybe not a question, but a comment, any other words or thoughts you just want to throw out? Just yell it out so we can capture it, we can take it offline.
This will be my last comment of the day. So.
Yeah, right.
I just wanted to say that we had an internal debrief at Glue, and we're very impressed. And I feel, on behalf of Glue, that you guys have really stepped it up since last year. These were a lot of the things that we asked for a year ago, and seeing these programs start to come to fruition, and even some surprises like the marketing side of things, the go-to-market consultants, the demand gen. I mean, these are the things that count. And I think that it's our responsibility to drive our own businesses, and you guys are doing a great job to enable us with additional tools. So thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Being a small organization, so for the past year and a half, we've been trying to work together with Cisco. And my biggest frustration is the fact that we're trying to penetrate different regions at the same time. And then we're talking to one guy over here in Australia, and the other guy in America, and the other guy in Europe. And we don't really have a way of speaking to different people and having them communicate between one with the other. So I don't know whether you have a suggestion. I understand Cisco is a huge organization, but maybe you have a suggestion on how to go to Cisco and have some kind of exposure across different regions.
You want to talk to the regions? You're more on the... That's probably a tough one.
Well, the short answer is there's no way. My suggestion would be start with one. Now, there is a very, very good grapevine network between the different regions and between the different communities. So if you succeed, never mind with which region or even a country, it depends on the amount of resources you can allocate to it, then afterwards it would quite easily go across everywhere. But there's no one place that you can deliver the message to everyone. So my recommendation, decide where you want to start, focus on one area. When you'll have a success over there, it would be very easy. And people would also be very, very willing to help you and drive further discussions. For example, if you decide, you mentioned Australia, never mind. You work with Australia and you have a few good case studies there, and then you approach your Cisco friends in Australia and say, can you help me to set up a WebEx with the same community in other regions? I'm sure that they will help you to do that. And this is from experience. They will help you to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just think that success will breed success. So if you've had success with one region and you show the proof and the return, that would definitely lead to other success or a point of entry within another region, no doubt.
All right, I think we're wrapping up. I think Beth has some comments here. Was there another question? Oh, no, I thought I started getting going.
Okay, thanks very much again for all the feedback. It was very valuable, and we're going to take it to heart, and we'll communicate back out through one of our communication vehicles on where we're at. And I wanted to make sure that all of you fill out your surveys. So we have an overall 2-day event survey, and then we have another survey that is what you thought of the marketing and go-to-market benefits programs we've launched today. Please fill out those surveys, get them back to us. We will give you something in return to incent you for that feedback. And I promise it's not a Cisco pen, notebook. It's something you'll really want. We're going to raffle off some success stories in the marketing campaign that we talked about that you all said you wanted. So thanks very much. Appreciate your time.